All right. So yeah, I guess this is the way it has to be. We'll figure it out. But also, Computer Kid should know, like, y'all need to fully try. But like, you're gonna be graded a little differently. Like, I wouldn't fail any kids who are forced to do this computer method. Obviously, isn't like the best way. It's weird that this is the first thing I'm saying as I'm recording now. But um, but yeah. So like, we'll work out the kinks, and y'all need to like try. I hope y'all are all doing good on your quiz right now, and you can turn those in when you're done, like maybe on this table. But yeah, like obviously I'll take that into account. So anyway, okay, so other kids that aren't computer kids, we're going to intro chapter 22 today, which is mostly just fifth declension, which is kind of exciting. We've been building up to this canon. Yeah, the whole, let's see. Oh, we ran out. Homework. Yeah, so the homework should already be passed out. Did anybody else besides Candy not get this? Sorry, I copied it really weirdly, where it's like what's it called? Portrait mode. Or it's not portrait mode. But anyway, it's kind of weird, but it's not that weird. Y'all can do 1 through 5 for Wednesday, and then we'll do. There's actually a backside. We'll do those like tomorrow, maybe in class or something. But there is a flip side to it. So that is your homework for this week. Let's do Wednesday. We'll talk about the chapter today. We'll do spot translations tomorrow. Check the homework. You know the drill. Thursday will be the vocabulary, and we'll look at that. So, yeah, it's the first week of a new chapter. This is how it always goes. And, yeah, let's talk about the quiz real quick. This went pretty well. It went okay. Y'all are still kind of getting a little overwhelmed by the passive verbs, I think. Just kind of throw you guys off still. But so this one would be wisdom and search truth will not be found in Flushman. Keyword will here. The big thing here is that in Winiator is third singular future. I feel like almost everyone thought it was present or some other tense. And so I even went back to like check that like I spelled future in all caps here. And I definitely pointed it out. That's what the chapter was kind of about actually. In Wenio and Wenire is fourth conjugation. So for its future, it's not getting buntor like a first or second conjugation verb. It's just getting this long E. And the present tense version of this would be like Inweniuntur, I-U-N-T-U-R, I think. But this one is future, and we definitely talked about that. Hayden, did you take this quiz? You didn't do a ton when you were gone, right? So we'll catch you up somehow. But here's the answer to the quiz you will make up this week. So there it is. That's it. What else did I ask about this? Was this the first or second sentence in the quiz? And I mostly asked about the verb, right? So it's third, singular, passive. It's passive, right? I get a little confused when you guys are still starting saying active voice. Because, like, you guys kind of mastered the active endings. You should recognize them. It's OST, must have sent. Perfect active is still something a little rustier than you should be. But those are the perfect active endings. These passive endings, which I promise I will try to make a new chart for, they should stand out to you, right? TUR, third person singular. Y'all think I could squeeze in passive endings on this guy, actually? Like, if I showed them on the bottom, I mean, it would get really busy.
Well, I wouldn't be able to see it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. So I just, like, literally need this, but passive. And I could, like, get taped to the bottom of it or something. But yeah, so we're literally gonna review passive endings in just a second. And we're just gonna keep doing it every Monday, basically. But it's future passive. Some people got both of those things wrong, so that's why I'm dwelling on it for super long. Okay, the other one was this one. I'll do final translations. Like I can tell y'all are studying like the kind of the right way, and that you're like reviewing the sentences that I tell you I'm gonna pull from. But sometimes people still won't get like the fill in the blanks correct, which tells me you're not quite there with the grammar, that you're kind of like recognizing the vocabulary, you're able to reproduce the translation, but you're not really fully aware of like all the grammar. So this verb was imperfect passive. Again, it's third singular passive, just like this guy, but it's imperfect because of the BA. So that's one. We love those imperfects, man. They never change regardless of conjugation or anything like that. What did people mix up on this? Well, haec carmina was a direct object. So within the relative clause, it's like a blank grammatical slate, meaning it's like relative clauses, which is the underlined part here. They have their own subject. They might have their own direct object, etc. They have like their own verb and everything. They definitely at least have their own verb. So the subject of this relative clause is qui. Think of qui, qui, quod. When we say qui, qui, quod, we're talking about the nominatives, the masculine nominative, the feminine one, and the neuter one. That's the masculine nominative right there. That's the subject. Because I had a lot of people think haec carmina was like the subject or something. That is a direct object of the relative clause. Remember, it's like who wrote these songs, plural. So it's coming after the verb, it's the direct object, right? It's accusative. That is tricky though, because haec carmina could be nominative, outside of this context, but in this sentence, you should have like been able to figure out that's the direct object. Qui's antecedent is like, I guess it's the author. It's not spirit. Or is it spirit? Because like is it the spirit who wrote the poems? Probably not. It's probably the author. The author who wrote the poems. His spirit was often touched by immortal gods and goddesses. What else did I ask about in this sentence besides the verb? Anyone? Everybody put the quiz away? What? That was it? So I'm just asking about the verbs. Yeah, there's a reason for that. That's what the chapter was about. So look real quick. What is the tense and voice of a verb like this? When it's in two parts like this, what is the tense and voice of that verb, Lucy? Yeah, perfect passive. Remember, two parts. Think of P times 2. It's perfect passive. Perfect tense, passive voice. So what's that going to be? It's not going to be I am verb. That'd be present passive. It's going to be what anyone? How do we make it perfect passive, not present passive? Parker? Have been verb is the best way. It can also be was verb, but I kind of like have and has been since that's what like we always think of have and has for perfect tense. So yeah, this would be I have been admitted or received or let in. And that was our example. This is something we did like last week. We're not going to go through the whole rigmarole again, but just want to like show y'all. If I made this present passive, that would be admittor, just literally adding R to the first singular principal part. And that'd be I am admitted, present passive, versus I have been admitted, perfect passive. Which is, they look totally different. It's in two parts here. It's just one form here. If I made it perfect, no. If it's just present active, that would be this guy, and that'd just be I admit. I actively admit. That's it. And admisi would be perfect active. First person singular, I have admitted. Remember, first person singular perfect verbs, they end in I. Just like the subject is I of a perfect person. Perfect first person singular active verb. Veni vici, I came, I saw, I conquered. So admisi here would be I have admitted, or just I admitted. All right, let's do 2 more examples. Oh yeah, so there's all the perfect passives there. What you do is you take the fourth principal part that we hadn't used until last chapter, literally, and you add it to sum esse. Now, if you do the imperfect forms of sum esse, then that would make it pluperfect passive. It'd be like I had been verb. And if you use the future version of the sum esse, that would be future perfect. That'd be like I will have been verb. They're pretty rare. Okay, what is this one? Even though the Zoom thing's covering up part of it. Navigantur, T-U-R. That's obviously, we just talked about this form. That's what tense and voice, anyone? Now, perfect passive or what, Carly? That'd be navigabantur. I think I'm saying that right. It had the BA in there. So not imperfect passive, but Caden? Parker?
Present passive.
This is just present passive. Is that what we're going to say, Addie? Yeah, this is just present passive. We make it imperfect passive, Carly, but again, adding the BA somewhere in there in the ending. So this is just they are sailed. Where if it was like navigatus est, perfect passive, that would be like he has been sailed. They are sailed. Sounds weird, but remember this is the one I figured out. Like if you use seas as the subject, it actually makes sense. All seas are sailed by brave sailors in time. Versus I only did present active as our counter example. But yeah, those purple endings there, those are the present passive endings. I guarantee you guys know your present active ones. We dealt with present active verb endings for like 11 chapters, and that's almost all we had other than imperfect and future. So if you are saying these weird newfangled purplish endings, that's present passive. I am verb, you are verb, it is verb, we are verb, y'all are verb, they are verb. Looking at the pink. What color is that? It's like light maroon or like a dark pink. It's kind of weird. And then the light blue, that's perfect active. So like I verb, you verb, it actively verb, we actively verb, y'all verb, they verb. The weird one being this guy right here. So that being said, what is legisti? What voice and mood? No, tense and voice is legisti. The 9th graders are getting subjunctive mood in a couple chapters, and I'm terrified for them. Y'all won't get it until like probably January, but y'all are pretty close to it too. It's 28, huh? So what tense and voice is this? But yeah, verbs just keep getting more. So the good thing about this chapter is like y'all are kind of gonna be done with nouns now. Like nouns are kind of just gonna like chill out a little bit. Verbs are gonna keep getting more and more crazy. Adjectives are actually gonna get not complicated, but they're gonna get called comparative and superlative adjectives, like better and best. So it won't just be good anymore; it'll be better and best. It won't be fast anymore; it'll be faster and fastness. That's actually not too bad. But anyway, verbs are gonna always just exponentially get crazier. Parker, what?
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect, passive or active.
Oh, active.
Yeah, this is perfect active. So this would be in what person and number is it? Anyone?
Yes,
Oh. Yeah. So it's you have what? Y'all know what Lego means?
Chosen.
Chosen or read, yeah. So you have, or just you read, or you chose. You chosen. So it'd be chosen if we used have. If we didn't use have, it would just be chose, right? We know how English works. So yeah, isti. Isti is a really, really notable ending there. The endings that are not stand out, meaning that they're not distinct for perfect active, are this guy right here and this guy. But the other ones are all really distinct, right? Long I is the subject of first person singular. Active is I, so that's how you remember that. This one's just like really weird. The plural version of that you add s, and this one's really weird. It sticks out, right? It's really different. They have verbs, and then these are just like these are the times where it's like you would want like if it's third singular or first plural. Computer people, that's when you would like want to know what the stem of the verb is. The third principal part stem. In this case, it's the same. Like for Lego Legura, if you look at the bottom there, it's kind of the same as. So leg it. If you're saying like leg it, third person singular perfect, you wouldn't really know if it's perfect or present. So, but that's the minority of verbs. Usually they're very distinct, or they're a little more distinct. Like this one, right? It's navigavi. So if you see a v in there, if it's navigavit, that's perfect. It's not present. Navigat is like he sails, present tense. Navigavit, just adding a t to this third principal part, that is he sailed. Okay. Anyway, we'll keep like every Monday, we're just gonna hang out with verbs again and kind of like refresh. But any questions? I'm feeling a little more comfortable with verbs a little bit. They're not that bad. It's just like it's like we had 6 tenses circa chapter 12, and then in chapter 18 we made it where all 6 tenses now have like an alternate version, which is the passive voice version. And so now it's like y'all are dealing with like almost 12 verb tenses, which is crazy. Chapter 23, it's gonna blow that up even more. You're gonna get participles. No, it's gonna be good though. It's gonna be fun. I love chapter 23. All right, here is the 5th declension. Congratulations, guys! You made it to your last final declension. Very exciting. Clearly, this declension favors E. Does anybody have any observations about this declension in terms of how it compares to our first 4? Cora?
They have
The macrons, like all the E's are long. Yeah, all of them except the accusative singular are long. So it's like race, rei, not like res. This one right here is very common. It means thing. So republic comes from 2 different words, race, publica. It literally just means public thing or like matter. But it's a very versatile noun, this word, because like we use thing in English like in all sorts of ways. Sometimes we use it as kind of like an informal, like if we can't think of a word. So we're just like, oh, that thing. Can you get me that thing? But other times it's like more specific. It can mean like matter. So like public matter is what race publica means. All of these nouns are feminine. Not super important, but it's worth noting. All of them except for dies here, and I think meridiase or something. There's like one other one. There's literally just 2. Or here, yeah. Day and middle are the only ones that are not feminine for what that counts.
I see that like all of them are the same on both sides except for the gender singular and the
Oh yeah, so I guess apparently some of the genitive singulars are long E, and some of them just get this accent. Which honestly, I don't even know what that really means. But that's not super important. What else? What are our overlaps and what declensions do they remind us of, Luke?
Well, it doesn't remind me of anything, but one thing different I see is that those ones are like orange.
Yeah, they're orange. Yeah, that's a good observation. And that's bad because I'm using orange for third declension over on the noun chart over there, and green is what I think that's all that was left to me. It was like a light green in terms of what markers I have. Cora?
do like
A
a
yellow.
Like it for you.
For 5th?
Yes, like a mustard.
I think of 3rd as being yellow or orangey, but I also kind of think of 5th as being yellow or orangey. So I really don't think of it as light green. That works because like what was available. But I think of both of them as being yellow or orange, which is maybe it has to do with me thinking of E, the vowel, as having like an orangey, yellowy kind of synesthetic thing. But okay, so our genitive and dative, those are the same. What declension does that remind you guys of? That's a little weird. It's not too weird. Remind you guys of anything? This is the plural side. Yeah, first declension, right? With the AE showing up way too much. But they are not the same as nominative plural. So in that way, it's not like first or second. Right? Because first and second, the gender singular is also the nominative plural. AE or long I. So yeah, at this point, now we have third, fourth, and fifth are getting the long I in the dative. Right? Luke or Caden? Kevin with a water bottle over there. Accusative. Whoa. What happened to there? Something weird happened in the history room, computer people. Accusative singular is just EM, just like third declension. To me, this is like third declension combined with a little bit of first, maybe a little bit of fourth. Ablative is exactly what you think it'd be. It's a long E, where third is actually just E. This is the same as third declension. What's happening here? Oh no, these are both singular. Okay, I don't like. That's never how I do it. So when I do have it like that, it confuses the heck out of me. Okay, yeah, but nominative plural is the same as third declension's long ES. It's just that is also the nominative singular. So the nominative plural is the same as the nominative singular, which is that one.
That's not normal.
Yeah, that's not normal at all. If anything, that's kind of like fourth declension, but not really, because remember, fourth, it's like normal US versus long US in nominative singular and plural. The genitive plural, that's chill. This ERUM, that's kind of first and second declension style. These are obviously just like E-centric versions of the third and fourth dative and ablative plural. And then accusative plural is the same as nominative plural, which is the same as both of those endings in the third declension. So yeah, it's very third declension-y with like little echoes of other ones, I guess. But yeah, it's not that bad, right? And I think I mentioned this last week, but like my ninth graders have had this declension for like a few chapters, and I feel like we haven't seen any worse. Like mostly we've seen reti a little bit, maybe fides means faith, but like we barely like they only give us a few, and they are kind of rare. These fifth declension nouns, they seem a little less common than the other declensions. So yeah, this isn't going to be that big of a deal. This chapter is going to be a good chance for us to kind of like refresh and catch up to everything. Or literally go through each case. That's what I was supposed to be doing just now. Yep, look at each case. They're great. They're awesome. You guys will learn them pretty quickly. All right. Oh, this was me going through and like saying what I thought. Yeah. All right. So most of them are just third or third kinda. But the genitives are kind of like second declension or first declension.
Third.
And then I should say this is almost a first declension kind of thing because of the way it's repeating the genitive. Okay, here's the vocab. So let's see, they only give us, even in this chapter, they give us, let's see, 5, 4. So they give us DH means day, then ferrum is just neuter, means sword or iron. If you know the periodic table a little bit, FE is like iron. Fides, like semper fi, that's another fifth declension. Ignis is fire, ignis, that's third declension though. Modus is second declension, is measure or limit. Race is going to show up a lot, that's fifth. Obviously, res publica specifically is like state or republic. Space is hope. Despair, is that the only related word we have? So it's like the opposite of hope is despair. It's weird. Okay, and then we have additives. Equus means calm or even. Felix is happy or lucky. Kind of like Beatus. Everyone forgets Beatus. Encartus is uncertain. Latinus is Latin. Medius is middle. And then ultra is a new adverb. It means okay, this is interesting. Ultra is an adverb sometimes, but it also can be a preposition that means beyond, and it will take an accusative. So that's a new preposition worth noting. Protinus is an adverb. Kierno is to discern, and then we get some verbs. The verbs aren't too bad though. But you guys will be quizzed on these words on Thursday. Let's find out what page. It's not that much. The way I typed it makes it look like it's more. You guys will be fine. You might have time today to make flashcards, honestly. Let's see. This is 22. So these are on page 178. Yeah, they look like way less when you look at the textbook. It's just because I'm adding all the related words here. So 178. Let me add that to page 178. There's no printout for it because you guys know how this class works. I don't need to print out your vocab words. They're on 178, and then they're there too. They're on Quizlet, surely. All right, I've shown you guys this before, but the only other thing this chapter adds to the mix is not really an addition. It's just like a summary of all of our ablative uses that we have so far. They do technically add this ablative of place where, but there's nothing to it literally. Like we've already translated this a ton. It's super easy. It's when ablatives are working with the preposition in or sub. Technically, sub can mean under, so that can also be an ablative of place where. But there's nothing to that. Like it's really easy. What's in Magna Casa Vivant? Already, Cora? Is it really cold?
No, it's good.
Freezing.
You can turn it up to 2. Or somebody. Let's see, Sadie or Addie. Yeah, thank you. I just don't want the heater to come on. It takes a little to make the heater start going. It's weird. What is in Magna Casa Vivant, anyone? Remember how Latin works? Let's translate. Hayden, what no. Parker?
They live in the great.
Yeah, they live in the great house. Technically this is no, not technically. I was going to say it's perfect since it's present. Yeah, they live in the great or the large house. Where the other one would be like the ship was under the water. All right, ablative place where, wow. But yeah, I think they do that on purpose. Every once in a while they give us a chapter that's kind of like a breather. There's nothing new in this chapter. Like fifth declension is not going to be a problem for you guys. It's fine. You might have to get used to dative and genitive singular looking the same, but other than that, it's like whatever. And all of this is like review stuff. So we have ablatives with prepositions and ablatives without. I already gave you guys these notes like weeks ago, so I'm not going to dwell on this. But the ones that do take a preposition, we do have a lot now, so that's the only way this is kind of hard, is that there's like so many now. Is that cum plus a person is accompaniment. Cum plus like a kind of abstract way of doing, like something that describes how something is done in an abstract way, is manner. So like doing something with care, cum cara. Kura, he, she wrote it with care. And in sub, or this place where that we just looked at, abde or x can all be placed from which. So like from the city, she sent it. She sent it from the city. So we have 3 froms. Keep that in mind. And even those from, they all kind of do different things also on top of that. They can also be for separation. So he prohibited them from the city. We have these certain verbs that take a direct object and an ablative of separation at the same time. It's kind of weird. Then ab by itself can be an ablative of agent. So that only shows up when you have a passive verb. So they'd be like, it has been written, perfect passive, 2 parts, by the friend. That's ablative of agent. And if, say, friend here is like a pencil, like stylo, there would be no ab, and that'd be ablative of means. That's on the next slide. And then extra day can be used with cardinal numbers. So like 3 of the ships departed. We don't see that too much. So they introduced that in chapter 15, and then we haven't really seen too much with cardinal numbers. But it'd be wary of the fact that you can translate obdane x as from, or in the case of personal agents, by, or in the case of with a number, it's of. So that's what is weird about those prepositions. But like none of those are actually that hard, like on their own. And then ablatives without prepositions, we only got a few. We got means. She wrote it with her own hand. So her hand is the ablative of means, the means by which she wrote it. And this will not have cum because it's the mean ablative. There is no preposition. We have to just provide it ourselves. And that happens in separation as well. So sometimes separation will have abde or x, like spelled out for us from. But sometimes we just need to know that from is happening kind of implicitly, meaning it's not spelled out. So like she liberated them from fear. There is no from in the Latin, but just in terms of context, like what else would we do with fear there? We wouldn't say that she liberated them with fear. That just sounds weird. And that'd probably be ablative of manner. So it probably would have a cum if that was the case. So that's, yeah. And then manner apparently sometimes doesn't have a preposition. Usually we do see it with them. So you can, he or she wrote it with care, but that's rare. Usually a cum would be in that sense. And then time when. Y'all would get thrown off on these, but it's just going to be like at that time or in 1 hour. So it does depend. Like you're either going to use at or in or within. I should write that. Use. Why is it just capital? Okay, use at So like at night, if it's in the morning though, if it's in Monet or just Monet, that'd be in. If it's like within a single day, it would be within. If it's like a period of time instead of just like a moment. And then there's one other one that I never remember, but that's what's tricky there. But if you know that it's like a period of time that's being described, usually with like tempora or aura, right? Aura means hour. Then it's ablative of time. And so you're going to use at or in or within to translate. And those prepositions will not be in the Latin. That's what this whole slide's about. Times when you have to translate and there is no preposition in the Latin. So y'all are used to that. Okay. Let's do a few spot translations. Is this on the flip side of y'all's homework? It's not. Is it? This is exercises. I'll print this out for y'all for tomorrow. The in-class translations we'll do for tomorrow. I'll have it printed out for y'all. But if y'all just want to write these out real quick, let's talk about let's parse. Right, when we're talking about case and tense and person and number and stuff, it's called parsing. So let's see, Addie, what do you think our subject in the sentence is? If you had to guess. This might be vocabulary centric too. I was going to do this mostly for my 1.5 kids, but I think I'll pass out vocab refresher sheets tomorrow and ask that you guys write at least 10 words on them by Friday, unless you have a dedicated part of your notes already where you write vocab, in which case you don't need to take a refresher sheet. Genoa, no. So Genoa is one of our only neuter fourth declension. So it does show up as Genu in like 4 out of 5 of the singular endings. But with the A here, that means it's actually nominative or accusative. So you're right, it could be nominative. But when it's right next to N, that makes me think, what? Can I like move this thing? It's like right. I wonder. Oh, I can't. It's actually better like down here. So no, not Genoa. How do I know it's not Genoa? I don't know, but also like, why would knee ever be a subject in this? Unless it was like the knee. Like I don't know why. The knee, yes, I guess it could be the subject. But when it's next to N, I'm thinking it's an accusative object of N. Keaton, what do you think the subject might be?
Homines.
So y'all are like reaching a little too much. Where's homines? I don't even see that. Oh, omnes. Omnes is an adjective. We know adjectives can function as nouns. But omnes is right next to deos, which makes me think it's what case, Candy? What case do I think omnes and deos are if they're going together? Which I think yeah, they're probably accusative. So you're right, Keaton, like this could be a nominative ending, but because I see next to accusative one, I'm like, oh, it's actually accusative. Remember, third declension and now fifth too, the ES is nominative or accusative plural, subject or direct object. Kind of like second declension neuter endings. So no, we still don't know the subject. What?
Nostri.
Well, nostri is probably going with the subject. What does nostri mean? Do you remember? So that is something that everyone should know. Nostri means anyone out loud? Hour. And then, so what is the subject that it's going with? Lucy? Yeah, which is this new word we get, vicinity, from this. It means what, anyone? So yeah, maybe those are our subjects. So I think Addie and like maybe Keaton were just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what the instinct is that would make you like kind of, it's probably a vocabulary thing that you're not like fully aware. This is just a noun. And so if it's the first noun you're seeing, it's probably the subject. We know it in Latin doesn't have to be the subject. It might be the direct object for all we know. But with those long I endings, these are just second declension. It's probably my subject. So something about our neighbors. What two cases could say be, Parker? Two cases could
Ablative or
so we used to be say. So it's say. The second say is ablative. The first one is
accusative.
yeah. So just like may, just like te, may, te, say. They're either accusative or ablative. So this is maybe a direct object. Maybe it's an ablative. Then in Genoa, I already kind of gave this one away. I think it's an accusative object of in, as in like onto a knee. All right, just because that would kind of make sense a little bit. Protinus is a new word that means immediately. That's an adverb. Iakerunt. What tense is iakerunt, Luke? Or Cora? I think I accidentally skipped Cora. I'm going around. What tense, and I guess voice too, is future? Not future. You're seeing the UNT that's making you think future, but I'm seeing the ERUNT, so I think it's what? This is perfect. This is that weird third plural perfect ending right there. So I guess you're thinking of like futuristic bunch cake or something, Luke, when you see UNG, but this is ERUNG. Now, if this was by itself, if it wasn't an ending, if it was like a verb, that would actually be they will. So it would be future. So that might be what you're thinking of actually. Yeah, that's really tricky. So our neighbors what? What is Iakio Iakura mean, anyone? Huh? Remember we talked about we get words like eject and project from it weirdly? Yeah, throw. And if you turn the I into a J, we get words like project and like projectile. So our neighbors, they threw, right? Because it's perfect. They threw what? What's a direct object in the first part of the sentence, anyone? Genoa? No, we said well, so we did say it was accusative, but they didn't throw their knee. Knee looks like it's going to be an object of N. So it's something about like onto a knee or onto knees, plural. So what else could be accusative? What was the accusative Parker stumbled upon?
That one right there.
Huh? Oh no, so let's not look at the second part yet. We're still just looking at the first part. It's say, yeah. So what would that be? Just the first three words. What is say? It's a personal pronoun. So we should be say. But it's the reflexive third person personal pronoun. Huh?
I think I have the sentence.
What?
They cut off his knee and threw it into a tree.
Good guess, but not quite. That sounds like how my ninth grader McKinley translates. He kind of just like writes short stories based on like a couple of the words in the sentence. McKinley, you wouldn't hear this, and if you did, I mean that in a good way. So no, our neighbors, right? Our neighbors threw say, right? Say Parker said was accusative or ablative, probably accusative. So they threw what? What is say? Say is going to be things like himself, herself, itself, themself. Huh? Yeah, in this case, because the subject is they, or it's like a they, it's our neighbor, it's going to be themselves. So they threw themselves, and this is supposed to be like a dark red because I make my accusative objects dark red, onto, I wish there was a there, but there's not, onto their knees. It should be like Sua or Suoro. Onto their knees immediately, and then something about, I guess I already gave away the cases for these. What? Well, what, you think all gods is the subject?
Not anymore.
Yeah, no. We already said, we said omnes could have been a subject, or Keaton did, but we saw it was next to Deus. We were like, oh, it must be accusative. It must be going with Deus. So let's use our second verb, laudaverunt omnes Deus in mundo. Yeah.
Can you make more dark stories?
Yeah, like make it, there's something bloody.
No, yeah.
Cutting
Well,
something up.
For Halloween, I could try to make like hopefully not too violent.
No,
make it
very
violent.
Violent, please.
They can at least be like
Please.
spooky. We can like speak spooky stuff because we have words for that. We have like death, we have kill, we have spirit, we have.
You should have
That's
words
how the
and
people
cutting you guys on.
Oh,
Describe the details.
You can do that, Parker.
And they praised all the gods in the world.
Yeah, they praised all the gods in the world. So let's just kind of like walk through that slowly. Chloe, what tense is laudaverunt? What tense of our 6 tenses? It's active. I'm going to tell you that. It is up there. It's not up there. Eventually our passives will be up there. Keep putting off making that poster, but I will. Well, once I buy a car, I'll make that poster. I have to get a new car. It's fine. Somebody hit me 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
But what? Huh? Perfect. Yeah, it's perfect, right? Just like this guy. It's ERUNT, third person perfect. So it's still our neighbors. They praised, or they have praised, the direct objects, all gods, or like every god. Either way, however you want to do that, because omnis is like all or every. It's technically plural here, so we want it to be like something gods, which would be all gods. We probably want to go with all gods. If we said every, we would have to make it every god, singular. It's technically plural. So all is a little better. All gods in the earth. So we have our ablative of place where right there, or on is a little better. We don't say things are in the earth. Oh yeah, there's flashcards up here. Y'all can literally make flashcards whenever y'all want. Truly. Let's see. Okay, let's do one more, and then we'll be done for the day. Y'all can either work on vocab or homework. So gentes Graeciae and gentibus montibus et parvis finibus contenebantur. This is from a new verb. Conteneo, contenere means to contain. Let's see. So let's talk, Bailey, about either what the subject is or what words go together. Like, can you see what words are going to go together here? Yeah, those are probably both what? Yeah, they give me nominative plural. Yeah, Graecae is like, good old first declension nominative plural, not genitive, because wait. So be careful here. Graecum is the adjective Greek, but Graecia actually means Greece. So gentes might be nominative. You're right about that, Bailey, nominative plural. But Graecia actually might be what I said. I just said it wasn't, which is what, anyone? Yeah, so what would gentes Graecae be if Graecae is genitive singular, actually? Because it's Greece, it's not Greek. Yeah, the clans of Greece. Something about in gentibus montibus. What case do you think, Carly, are in gentibus montibus? Hopefully y'all can see. I mean, I guess all of us would be able to tell they go together. Can't talk. In gentibus montibus. Because I see no ablative, so let's jump back real quick. Or I see no preposition. And I gave away, they're ablative, right? They're probably ablative. I guess it could be dative, but it doesn't look like we're giving anything to the huge mountains. So let's look back at our ablatives that don't have prepositions. This is either like separation. It wouldn't be time when. Huge mountains is not a time. Huge mountains are not a time. Manner, maybe if you do something with huge mountains. Means. So I'm thinking, I guess, like separation. Let's look back at it. What is our verb? At parvis finibus is also ablative. Contene bontur. Okay. Interesting. So, okay. This is weird. I actually don't really like this sentence. Parvis finibus is also ablative. This is from a period where I was entertaining using blue as the ablative of green. Should be green. What tense and voice is contene bontur, Addie or Carly? Tense and voice. Contene bontur. Yeah, this is imperfect passive. Yeah, the BA makes it imperfect. The TUR makes it passive. So it's something like they were contained. So is it the clans of Greece were contained? Okay, the clans of Greece were contained with huge mountains. So this is means. So like by way of huge mountains. Okay, I don't love that sentence. So this was ablative of means. It didn't seem like huge mountains could be an ablative of means, but it was actually. Yeah, you can. Sorry. Yeah, I usually like to have these printed out for you guys, because otherwise a lot of y'all just kind of sit there staring at the screen, seeing a lot of words you don't really know the definition of, and just kind of like, oh, maybe I know it now. But that's not how learning vocab works, guys. But in-game means huge. Montibus, that one's easy. Mons montis. Parvis means small. Y'all got that back in like chapter 4. And finibus, or finis, is this newer word that means limit or boundary. Or territory sometimes in the plural. Small territories, that would be weird here. Boundaries is better. What is this one? This one's something like who commanded. It's the first two words. Who commanded? What is illam rem publicum? So you guys are going to see this word, this new word, res publica. It's in like two separate words, but it's going to be translated as just one word. And what word is that anyway? And it's illam republic. So it's so who commanded that republic? And then liberari. This is an infinitive. What kind of infinitive is it? So it's not ending in ARE, it's ending in ARI. So it's. Remember, we have passive infinitives. What kind of infinitives do we have now, Keaton? Oh, he didn't know. He didn't know. Cammy, what kind of infinitives do we have now? What was it, guys? It was passive. Yeah. So the passive infinitive, instead of like to free or like to verb, it's to be free. And we just turned the E into an I, basically. Except for third conjugation where it's like, it's not ARI, it's like literally just I. It's like very tiny. But that's just third conjugation. So it's like, who commanded that republic to be freed? Servitute aspera? What ablative is that anymore? Freed what? Something about harsh servitude? What ablative is that, Keaton? Andrew's trying to focus on the Latin class he's not technically in. You're distracting him. You should be focusing on learning Latin and your new horse that your little sister was telling us all about. So what kind of ablative is this? Anyone?
Ablative.
No, this is an ablative that comes up when we have verbs like to free, to prohibit, to lack. Because what we still don't know what preposition to use with this ablative. So who commanded that republic to be freed? Something, harsh slavery or harsh servitude. Huh? From, probably from, which would make this what kind of ablative? Separation. Yeah, y'all do actually seem to like not be comfortable with separation yet. So we'll maybe practice that more. I mean, you're gonna get practice just doing the homework and stuff, but it shows up a lot. But yeah, if you lack something, that's an ablative separation. If you free something from something else, that's something else's ablative separation. If you prohibit something from something else, that's ablative separation. Just 3 verbs. What are our verbs, Keaton, for ablative separation? Oh, you don't know? That's weird because I just said all of them. Okay, so let's see. Let's not do that one. I'll put the vocab on the screen, and y'all can take the last few minutes to either like make flashcards or like do something. You can work on homework or whatever it is. Any questions, concerns? Computer kids all took the quiz. Yes. Isn't it 25 in here? I think it's 25, so that'd be like 2.5 minutes. Yeah. And I will email the computer guys, and we will try to have computers for tomorrow. Computer kids, I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay if you just.
I appreciate that, Sarah, but I'm gonna try to